So, oh yeah, do this again. This one I'm reading. Okay? Now, this says prayer. Right. One of the things in the Upanishads that might strike the reader as odd is their constant preoccupation with dream and dreamless sleep. Contrary to the Western way of thinking, dream is regarded as more real than waking life, and dreamless sleep than dream. For although in dreamless sleep there can scarcely be consciousness, it is nevertheless considered to be a form of bliss, which itself is a form of the Absolute, Brahman, and the nearest approach to release from empirical life obtained on earth. Why, one might ask, this obsession with escaping from this world of space and time? The answer is, in rest and repose, God is with you. When you not rest and repose, He is not with you. But now He's with you all day long, and He's not with you when you sleep. Why, one might ask, this obsession with escaping from this world of space and time? The answer is that the authors of the Upanishads, along with the Buddhists, came to regard human life as being basically miserable. Ooh, I don't find it miserable. Boring sometimes, but not miserable. Well, it depends on if you're on a gory war back in the day. Oh well, the answer is that the authors of the Upanishads, along with the Buddhists, came to regard human life as being basically miserable, and this was due to the fact that in the Upanishadic period itself, the theory of karma and the transmigration of souls that goes with it had gradually come to be accepted as a self-evident fact of existence. Karma is the Sanskrit word meaning simply act, deed, or work. The theory of karma, if we may call it such, is that every action must produce its inevitable fruit. Good actions produce good fruit. Evil actions produce evil fruit. No. Good actions can also produce evil fruit, and evil actions can also produce good fruit. Good actions may win you a blissful existence in one of the heavens. Evil actions will land you in one of the hells. Ultimately, however, you will return to this world. If you have been good, you will be reborn in a family of Brahmans, maybe. If you have been bad, you may be unlucky enough to be reborn as a pig or a woman or a worm. There is no escaping this bondage of works, hence the necessity for release, moksha, mukti, and hence the speculation on the states of sleep. For in deep dreamless sleep, action of any sort is at its lowest ebb, and the sleeper is as near as he can be to an eternal state of being, to Brahman, as in ordinary circumstances it is possible to be. Yet the state of dreamless sleep can scarcely be the same as the felt identity of what is most inward in the individual human being, the Atman or self, with the power that the Atman or self, with the power that, though unchanging itself, supports the entire universe. That power which, because it is eternal and changeless, brings release from all works. Karaman. And from all that takes place in the phenomenal world. For in dreamless sleep, one is conscious of nothing. The man in this condition, the Chandogyer, no, Chan, Chun, Tian, Dogyang, no. How to spell? How to speak? GYA. Ogya, Aya, Oyaya, Chandogya, Aya. Upanishad says, has no present knowledge of himself, or has no present knowledge of self, Atman, so that he could say, this I am. Nor, for that matter, has he any knowledge of these creatures here. Surely he might as well be a man annihilated. I see nothing enjoyable in this. Page 30, 130. So one of the latest Upanishads, the Madhukaya, says, there must be a fourth state beyond the waking, dreaming, and dreamless states in which the absolute oneness of Brahman, Atman, is consciously realized. This is conscious of neither within nor without, nor of both together, nor a mass of wisdom, neither wise nor unwise, unseen, one with whom there is no commerce, impalpable, devoid of distinguishing mark, unthinkable, indescribable. Its essence is a firm conviction of the oneness of itself, bringing all development to an end, tranquil and mild, devoid of duality. Such do they deem this fourth to be. That is the self. That is what should be known. Page 201. This state is beyond all dualities, and therefore, in Hebrew, therefore means you are past. Beyond the Creator God, by whatever name he is known. Indeed, in the macrocosm, the Creator God corresponds to the state of dreamless sleep, which, in the macrocosm, man, is seen as both the material and the efficient cause of both dream and the waking state, just as God is both the material and the efficient cause of the phenomenal world. Hence, according to the Mandukya and Upanishad, God is ultimately irrelevant because, from the absolute point of view, he does not exist because you are inside and made of from. This statement, according to the book, this statement of an absolute monist position, according to which nothing at all exists except the one, and that's everything like a giant amoeba, is peculiar to the Mandukya Upanishad. The one is not the all, as it usually is in the earlier Upanishads, because all means plurality, and this must be totally denied to the one. In the fourth state, there is experience of oneness only beyond space and time and action, karma, of any kind. From the Chandogya Upanishad, however, the fourth state is very different indeed. What is envisages? No, what is envisages is not an absolute motionless oneness, but a true liberation or release from space and time, a form of existence that can only be compared to the winds. No, a form of existence that can only be compared to the wind in its freedom to roam at will, unhampered by material things. Brahman, indeed, is frequently identified with the breath of life. Prana equals spiritus, breath, or with infinite space. It is an eternal mode of existence in which, paradoxically, timelessness does not preclude freedom to move in time, and spacelessness does not preclude freedom to roam at will in space. These are deep waters indeed, and no words can adequately describe this state of liberation. So let the Chandogya Upanishad speak for itself. It's good, right? Right. Page 138. For sure this body is mortal, held in the grip of death. From the first breath you're going to die, so get over it. From the first time you're born and your doctor smacks your baby's ass and screams like fuck. From that first breath you're going to die. Get over it and enjoy your life. From the first breath, okay? For sure this body is mortal, held in the grip of death. Yet it is the dwelling place of the immortal, incorporeal self. And this self, while still in the body, is held in the grip of pleasure and pain. And so long as it remains in the body, there is no means of ridding it of pleasure and pain. But once it is freed from the body, pleasure and pain cannot so much as touch it. The wind has no body, clouds, thunder, and lightning. These too have no body. So just as these arise from the broad expanse of space up there and plunge into the highest limit, revealing themselves each in its own form, so too does this deep serenity arise out of this body and plunge into the highest light, revealing itself in its own form. Such a one is a Superman, and there he roves around, laughing, playing, taking his pleasure with women, chariots, or friends, and remembering no more than excrescence, which was his body. Page 130. This is the extreme pluralist view. Between this and the whole monistic view, every gradation and nuance will be found in the Upanishads. Brahman is both of a state of being, is indeed being itself, and the source of multiplicity and manifestation. He or it, then, is both one and many, and seen from the point of view of ordinary mortals who have not yet tasted his immortality, he is the one Supreme Lord. He is the real core and center of both the human being, or microcosm, and the universe, or macrocosm. Yet he is also the ruler. This self, indeed, is Lord of all contingent beings, King of all beings, just as the spokes of a wheel are together fixed onto the hub fairly, so are all contingent beings, all gods, all worlds, all vital breaths, and all these selves together fixed in this one self, or in this, and all these things together fixed in this self. Page 49. The supreme principle, as we have seen, is indifferently referred to as Brahman, originally sacred word or sacred power, Atman, self, or Purusha, male person. The words Atman and Purusha, however, are also used to mean the individual self. Now, in psychology it says me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. When you are a me, myself, and I, you don't need psychiatry. When you're the me on your own, you do. When you are you and yourself, you do. When you are me, myself, and I, you don't need psychiatry. According to counsellors in mental health wards in hospitals that I've spoken to, not that I've been under their care, but I know people who have been. So I spoke to them. The words Atman, the ones I've talked to this about, not ones I have had grief counselling with. That's a different conversation. The words Atman and Purusha, however, are also used to mean the individual self. This leads to considerable confusion, since we can rarely be sure whether any particular passage envisages a plurality of selves or only one. Nor can we be sure whether when, for example, the Madhaka Upanishad speaks of Brahman, Atman, and Purusha, it makes a distinction between them or not. In that Upanishad, page 191, and self, Atman, can be won only by him whom he elects, and the self so elected then enters the Brahman home and draws near to the divine person who is beyond the beyond. Here it seems that the person, that is, the personal God, is elevated above Brahman insofar as Brahman means, as it does in those passages which speak of becoming Brahman, an eternal mode of existence, which is at the same time God's mode of existence. Now, in Hinduism, they don't believe in a God, or they don't believe in multiple gods. They believe every single person in India, not the real name place. It's got his own name. People call it say who lives there. They are all deity. All people, all animals, all plants, everything is deity in that place. That is Hinduism. They're not individual gods. Here it seems that the person, that is, the personal God, is elevated above Brahman, insofar as Brahman means, as it does in those passages which speak of becoming Brahman, an eternal mode of existence, which is at the same time God's mode of existence. Now we understand what Hinduism means. It means every single person in the land of the Hindus believes everything is one. Every single person is one. Every single animal is one. Every single plant is one. The air you breathe, the rain, the water you have, the rivers, everything is one. That's what Hinduism believes. And that's why they're deities. Male and female deities. Or princesses, as in Bible says. My Chaisarik told her name was Sarah. Sarah means word princess. Anyway, I want a cup of tea, so I'm going to have a cup of tea. I've hardly got through any of this blinking introduction. It's really hard work. I keep interrupting myself all the time. It's no good.